Hey my dudes, my name is Cecilia and welcome to my kitchen here in Stockholm, Sweden. Today we are making Kanelgifflar. These are inspired by these guys. You can find them in every grocery store, every gas station. They're a classic like road trip snack. They're just really small, sweet little cinnamon buns and they're delicious. If you Google these, a bunch of different shapes come up, but I decided on this particular shape because it was the closest I could get to the little guys in the bag. Now, while these may look like normal Swedish cinnamon buns, which I've already done on this channel, these actually use a different type of dough. For these particular buns, I have used a dough called karlsbaderdeg. Karlsbaderdeg. Karlsbader. Wait a minute. KARDEMUMMABULLAR. So therefore, the dough I would be using would be karlsbaderdeg. There we go. I got there eventually. I don't know what it is about that word that it gets like stuck in my mouth. Anyways, it's a slightly different form of sweet yeasted dough. What makes it interesting is that it has a baking powder in it. This gives it a really interesting kind of like short texture. I don't know. It's hard to describe. You guys are just going to have to make it and see for yourself. So let's get started.
Into the bowl of your stand mixer, pour 250 grams of water, 1 egg, 720 grams of flour, 100 grams of sugar, 4 grams of salt, 12 grams of baking powder, 50 grams of fresh yeast, and 175 grams of salted butter. Pop on the stand mixer and, using the hook attachment, mix for 5 minutes on slow just to bring the dough together. After 5 minutes, kick up the speed to medium fast and let mix for 15 minutes.
This dough is a little bit different from a normal bun dough in that we're not looking for it to be perfectly smooth or to make a window pane. That would just overwork it. What we're looking for is that the dough gives some resistance. You can see it's still pretty like on top. I don't know how to describe it, but it's not completely like baby butt smooth. It's still, it looks a little bit on like the rough side, but when we stretch it, there is still some resistance. Not like a super huge amount, but like it's there. I can tell that there's at least a little bit of gluten going on in there, and that's what we want. Now we just have to divide the dough into 2 pieces. You can just do that by eye. It's not super important that it's like super exactly even. It doesn't really matter in this instance. Take your plastic wrap. You want a fairly long piece, and we want to set ourselves up for success when shaping these later. Kind of just like make it a long-ish piece of dough. This dough is like roll floppy, so this is pretty easy to do. And then just lay it out in your plastic wrap and make it nice and thin. If you didn't want to use the plastic wrap, you could do this on a sheet tray with a towel over the top and a piece of parchment over the bottom. However, the plastic is going to help you not form a skin, so it is better to use. Just so you have options, guys. Nice and thin, this is exactly what we're looking for. It doesn't need to be perfectly even or perfectly rectangular at this point. We are looking for even-ish and rectangular-ish. These 2 are getting put in the refrigerator until they are 100% all the way cold through. This is going to take at least an hour, at least. If after an hour they're not cold through, we're just going to keep setting half-an-hour timers until they are actually all the way cold through. While those chill, we're going to make the cinnamon filling.
Into a bowl goes 180 grams of softened butter. I accidentally melted it a bit in the microwave, but that's okay. 75 grams of sugar, 50 grams of brown sugar, 10 grams of cinnamon, 3 grams of salt, and 3 grams of vanilla sugar go in as well and get mixed together until completely smooth and homogeneous. Set to the side, do not refrigerate.
This guy has been chilling for an hour and it is definitely cold all the way through and hard, but not like rock hard, which is exactly what we want. This dough, when warm, gets real sticky and like annoying to handle. I'm gonna keep our plastic for later. And then we just roll out. You don't really wanna roll it out this way at all. You only wanna roll it out this way. Oh, I can tell it's already sticking to the table. Okay, great. You can be fairly generous with the flour as well. I mean, it shouldn't be swimming in flour, but you know, a hefty sprinkle. And while you don't really want it to go out very far, you do want it to be even. So that's why I'm rolling it just a little bit this way. You can adjust wherever needs adjusting. Like my end is super thick here. This end is also really thick. And now we're just relaxing and making sure that it's even. Now this part is not even, so we're gonna roll it out a little bit. Great, good enough. Large offset, and you wanna take about half of your filling. I'm not scaling this, I'm doing this by eye, and hopefully it's half. Spread it out in a nice, even layer. And you want it over the whole thing, but whatever touches this line here, you don't want it to be like a super big chunk of butter, but a little bit is fine. I'm gonna call that good enough. You're gonna start in the corner and you're gonna fold down. It's almost just like I'm pressing just a little bit, just so it begins to come in. This is literally like, I don't know, half an inch, maybe? Just a little schwunk, schwunk, just that first little lip. I'm doing that in this corner as well. And I take this corner and I stretch it slightly so that it folds all the way over, all the way over. Lip folds all the way over. And what I care about most is my corners. If you get your corners right, the middle will follow. Rolling, and I'm gonna readjust. I'm gonna roll a little bit, but I'm being really gentle here, also because this dough is starting to get really warm. And now on this side, I'm gonna go all the way down and readjust. And I'm gonna go all the way down and readjust. And now my middle will follow like that. And you want this really long, skinny snake. And right now what I'm doing is just really feeling for any parts of it that are thicker or thinner and kind of evening them out. It's fairly warm and I don't want it to stick. I don't really want this snake to be like covered in flour. I just don't want it to be sticking to my table and I want it to be even. I have my tray here and it is lined with a silpat. You could also use a piece of parchment, but you do need to have something on your tray. Otherwise they're gonna stick and you're gonna be miserable. Handy dandy scale, our best friend. We're just gonna cut the littlest bit off of the ends. You don't have to do this. I just like to clean them up because I'm that kind of person. We are going to cut them, and that is a super tiny one. There we go. Okay, we're gonna try to go for between 40 and 50 grams here. Let's see if I can do it. So far, so good. I like them to be fairly tight together. You could spread them out a lot more. You could really do whatever you wanted to. Also, you do kind of want to try to see that, like, if this edge here, this is the edge that I rolled over, I want to move that so it's on the bottom. All of your edges should be on the bottom, but sometimes when they roll and when you're cutting, they get moved and then you just need to kind of put them back into place. And just kind of lightly press them down just a little bit. Again, you don't have to do this. I think it helps them hold their shape a little bit. In all of my testing, I've found that they just kind of end up doing whatever they're gonna do. Just let them live their lives. You do need to put plastic or a damp towel or something over the top of them so they don't form a skin. They're gonna rise super fast. These guys are going to be good to go in like half an hour. So we're just gonna set them to the side, and that other piece of dough I'm gonna freeze down and bake off at some other point, which if you need any information on how to defrost buns, how to bake them off after they've been defrosted, how to reheat them, all of that kind of information, I have a video on that, which is linked up here. And so go watch that and you'll understand more what I'm talking about. Anyways, while our buns are proofing, we're gonna get set up just a little bit. So I have here some egg wash. It's just some beaten egg, and we're gonna be brushing that on the buns first before they go into the oven, but when they come out of the oven, we're going to be brushing them with a brown sugar simple syrup. Now, of course, you can make simple syrup the traditional way by putting it in a small pot and bringing it to a boil, but like, I only have these. I literally need like a couple tablespoons, so that's just exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take about 2 tablespoons. That's actually quite a lot for how much we need. And then I have some boiling water, and I'm gonna approximate 2-ish, but then also +1 because those were like really big. I don't know, it just needs to be approximately half sugar, half water. And stir those together. And we are now ready for our buns whenever they are ready for us. I think these guys are about ready. Now, normally when I'm talking about buns, I say you need to look for double in size. You need to look for them to be really soft. These guys, you kind of want to underproof actually a little bit. They expand so much in the oven and it's so hot in my apartment right now that even though it's only been half an hour, like they're ready to go. You just want them to be looking puffy and fuller. You should be able to look at them and notice that they've grown. Brush them with egg wash. And you do need to be a little bit careful that you get the egg wash everywhere because where the egg wash is where they will like look brown. And so if you miss a spot, it'll just be pale, which like has nothing to do with the flavor and all to do with looks. These are all egged up and ready to go, and they get put in a 200 degrees Celsius, 400 degree Fahrenheit oven. They look so good. Oh, it's so exciting. As soon as they come out of the oven, you want to start brushing them, like immediately. If you don't want them to be sticky, you do not have to brush them with this syrup, but I think it like helps even out their color and adds just an extra little layer of sweetness and an extra layer of deliciousness as well. Also, just like a fair bit of warning, because I've made this mistake, these buns are so incredibly like soft and pillowy that if you have one while they're warm, you might think like, oh wow, I think maybe I underbaked these, like they're really doughy in the middle. But when they're warm, like as soon as you go like this, like all the dough just like compresses. So if you were to open one up right now and be like, oh my God, I underbaked it, what do I do? Like just wait for them to fully and completely cool before you evaluate whether you mess them up or not. In other words, they definitely need to be room temperature when you eat them. These guys are officially 100% cooled, and now I get to try one. That's a good bun. It's interesting because in so many ways, it's like a normal cinnamon bun, but the dough definitely is different. It definitely has a slightly different texture, definitely slightly. But I, as someone who has eaten 1,000 million buns made with vetedeg, this type of dough, which I'm not going to try to pronounce again because that was too much for me, definitely has its own thing going on. It has a little bit of a shorter texture. These are so good though. Love. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this week's video, then please like, comment, subscribe, all the things. And I hope that you have a great week and that I'll see you around next week. Hejdå! Karlsbaderdeg, 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 karlsbadbullar, karlsbaderbullar, karlsbaderbullar.